Hello, friend. Thank you so very much for tuning in to this broadcast. I can't thank you enough for being a part of our listening audience. Many of you, day after day after day. I was just talking to a gentleman from Washington State, and he listens in that neck of the woods. I want to say thank you for listening. I can't imagine how much of a glutton for punishment you've got to be to listen to this guy day after day. Goodness gracious. But regardless, I want to say thank you. In all seriousness, it really does mean a lot to me. And my desire, I'll tell you what my prayer is. And hopefully, I'm getting better at this. I've only been behind this microphone for, all of about 18 months or so. And I would consider myself far and away a rookie. I am barely out of my rookie season. We're figuring this thing out as we go along. But my prayer is to be teachable, to learn more, to really, my personal goal is to bring value, spiritual value. I don't have anything personally of and in myself to give you that's worth your time this morning, afternoon, evening, but I do believe I know a God that can. And so I'm very thankful for the fact that you would give me the opportunity to talk to you today. I've got some testimonies to share with you, and we might dive into those tomorrow. I've been thinking about maybe for the next little while having Thankful Thursdays. I recently asked some people, even some listeners like you, to give me some things that they are thankful for. I think we did it over the week of Thanksgiving, and the response was absolutely tremendous. Just so many. And to be able to even have a chance to get through them all, I can't wait until next Thanksgiving. I barely got through, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 of them over that entire week. Maybe it's because I talk too slow, or maybe it's because I expound upon these things. They excite me. They get me revved up. They get me lit up for the things of God, about thankfulness. I think we could focus on thankfulness all day, every day, and we wouldn't be overdoing it, but I think maybe once a week or so. So tomorrow, we're going to talk about some things that you are thankful for. And so we'll be reading some texts that I've been sent. If you'd like to jump on board, if you'd like to have a possibility of having your text read aloud on this particular radio broadcast from my lips to your ears, if you'd like to do that, you can text me. I'll give you that text number in just a moment. Here's what you need to do. In the body of the text, you just say, I'm thankful for ... But you don't put the ellipsis. You don't put the ... You fill in the blank, of course. You tell me what you're thankful for. You can give me a book worth. We have some folks, there's paragraph after paragraph. But some folks, it's just maybe 2, 3 sentences, maybe just one sentence. Whatever the Lord lays on your heart. Maybe you have one main thing today. Maybe you have 10. Regardless, text me at this phone number. You ready? 309 316 7240. I'm going to give you that to you one more time. You ready? 309 316 7240. I would love to hear from you. Now, I think today we're going to talk for just a few moments about food. Does that bother you at all? I love talking about food. I love eating food. I love everything about food. I love smelling food. I love tasting food. Everything about food is good stuff. Now, I'm a very adventurous eater. Part of that is because my mom, now people have asked me, I was actually at a church recently, and I had 2 people come up to me and basically point blank ask me, "What are you?" And I was trying to figure out what they meant for a moment. And then I realized they were curious about my ethnicity. And maybe we'll get into that in future. I think we've talked about it previously. My ethnicity and my heritage, my background, all of those things. But my mom is very multicultural as well. And so she can cook just about everything. My wife does a great job cooking. She comes from a family of foodies. We love food. So I'm a very adventurous eater. And so we had an open house at Bible Tracts Incorporated recently. And speaking of that foodie family, my in-laws were there. My father-in-law actually helped run the food. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But I think yesterday I left off with talking about how our tour of our brand new building during our open house, how that went. It started with my wife offering people a hot beverage, of course, coffee for those of you that drink that, hot apple cider, hot chocolate. It was a special mix that she custom made. It was very good. And then they went up the stairs to the Paul Levine Memorial Room where Pastor Joy Watt talked to them about our legacy, about our heritage. Then, after that, about 8 or 10 minutes or so, they progressed over to Pastor Paul Perucci, and he talked about why gospel tracts, the worldwide need, the local need, the personal need. And he transitioned into a short gospel presentation. The goal of Pastor Perucci, I talked to him, was to remind people of the eternal impact that the gospel and, furthermore, gospel tracts can and will make on lost souls. After that, after Brother Perucci, they transitioned to Brother Jay Griggs, Pastor Jay Griggs, actually. He's a pastor friend of mine. He pastors in Eureka, Illinois, and he's kind enough to come over some days and help us at Bible Tracts Incorporated. Talked about the fact that the work of BTI is work. You realize that? W-O-R-K, work. A lot of times we miss opportunities because they're dressed in denim coveralls and they look like work, right? Well, the work of BTI, it is work. It's not just me talking on this radio broadcast, which I realize in and of itself is work as well. There is preparation time that goes into this. There is time that's required. And I think people think that it comes easy to me sometimes. And I can tell you, it doesn't always come easy. Some of you are out there right now thinking, you know what? We can tell it doesn't come easy. We can tell that this is really difficult for you because you're not very good at it. Well, to those of you as well, I say thank you for even listening and giving me a fair shake. But you got to realize that the work of BTI, it is work. Sweat equity is required for us to be successful. I realize that God didn't call me to a ministry with light products. What do you mean by that? Well, gospel tracts individually, by themselves, they're pretty light. But when you get a couple thousand or a couple million of them together, they're not very light. They require pallet jacks, and sometimes we have to move them around, and all these types of things. We pack up boxes, and Jay was telling me he packed up over 100 orders the other day. But there's the wonder that comes along with it. The wonder, is this the tract? Is this the one? The one tract, but by me putting it in this box right now and packing it up and shrink wrap it very nicely so that it's presentable when it arrives and it gets beat up in the postal service system. When it arrives on your doorstep and you unwrap this box, you open this box and you unwrap the shrink wrap, maybe some Christian's going to take this gospel tract and they're going to leave it somewhere, or they're going to hand it to somebody, and someone is going to trust Christ because of this gospel tract. Maybe someone's going to be gloriously saved. Could someone get saved because I'm putting this tract in this box? Because I'm doing this work? I asked Brother Griggs to talk about that, and he's the one that really brought that thought to my mind. We realize that we're doing an important work, but sometimes it can almost become old hat to us because we do it all the time. But really, there's something amazing. There's a wonder about it. There's a requirement of prayer, of course. We could talk about the lead times involved, the shipping and delivery, the need for storage, the fulfillment process, everything we've been doing to try to cut costs, but also give an even better product to our partners like you. Realize that what we do here at BTI, we consider it incredibly important. Now, I'm skipping over a few different things. Brother Austin talked about the design and how we believe things need to be worthy, meaning they need to be worth the gospel. The gospel is so incredibly important, and we're not trying to do this thing halfway. Brother Todd talked about the prison ministry. We've talked about that in past, but we'll talk about that again very soon. He talked about the multiple letters that we send out all the time to prisoners that need help, and how we've had 5 salvations in the very recent past just from our prison outreach. There are so many things that people got to learn about at the open house, and it was such a blessing. We even gave people the opportunity to write a little handwritten note to some of our prisoners, just to encourage them. People that, yes, have they made massive mistakes? Have they committed crimes? Have they done things they should not have done? Oh, absolutely. But can I tell you, Christ offers redemption. He offers grace to even the quote-unquote worst among us. If we're honest with ourselves, that person that you and I look at in the mirror, those beady eyes that we look at in the morning, and we scratch them, and we get the sleep out of our eyes, and we look at ourselves in the mirror, that person is just as capable of heinous crimes as anyone that's sitting behind bars right now. And we must realize that if not for the grace of God, there go I. And so people had the opportunity to actually put their hands on some paper and ink and invest in some other people, maybe encourage them just a little bit. And the very last thing was the food. Now, I'll tell you what, they did a great job. The folks that helped with the food, thank you for being a part. My sister-in-law, Rachel Marriott, that's Austin's wife. Of course, Austin is our operations manager and lead designer. But Rachel and my father-in-law, Pastor Dan Woodward of First Baptist Church of Dwight in Dwight, Illinois. He's been pastoring there for 35 years, but I think one of his main hobbies is doing food. And he volunteered. He brought over a massive commercial grill and a fryer. Why do we need a fryer? Because they did homemade corn dogs. They were phenomenal. I'm actually craving one right now. Maybe I'll have to hit pause on this broadcast and go grab well, you know what? There weren't any left because they were so good. Maybe I'm going to have to talk them into making some more here very soon. I've gotten off on a rabbit trail or a corn dog trail. But in all seriousness, they did a great job. Dessert was halfway healthy because it was a caramel apple bar. Now, people have different opinions. Caramel, caramel, whatever your flavor, however you like to say it. We had one of those. We had a caramel apple bar. It had green apples, phenomenal, a little tart, kind of sweet. And they would cut them up. They would cut them open, and they had some hot caramel, and they'd spoon that over the top until you told them to stop. I wanted mine to look like soup. And then there were all kinds of toppings, M&Ms and coconut and peanut butter balls and all kinds of these different things, chocolate chips and all kinds of stuff that you could put on there. Like I said, it was only half healthy. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. I don't think they were talking about this type of apple because I had way too much sugary goodness on this thing. We had, to be blunt, a good time. The food was great. The fellowship was great. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity that we had. Now, I want to hear from you tomorrow. What are you thankful for? If you have something you'd like to share, text me right now. Ready? 309-316-7240. Have a great day for His glory. God bless.
Thank you for joining us today for Bible Tract Echoes, a ministry of Bible Tracts Incorporated. If you would like to receive a free sample packet of all of our tracts, you can contact us by calling 309-828-6888. That's 309-828-6888. Our mailing address is P.O. Box 188, Bloomington, Illinois, 61702. A faster way to contact us is to go to our website at BibleTractsInc.org. That's BibleTractsInc.org. There you will find more information about our ministry and details on how you can support Bible Tracts Incorporated. Thanks for listening, and may the Lord richly bless you as you serve Him.